Hello salty friends, my name is Jen and today I'm going to take you through one of my manatee paintings. Hang out with me for a little bit. I'm standing on a wooden walkway with a group of elementary students. In front of us is a park ranger explaining how a manatee is related to the elephant. Giggles rise from the tiny crowd around me. It was so cute. Manatees are gentle giants, often referred to as sea cows. They spend their days slowly moving along the coast, eating seagrass, and making friends with the locals. This field trip is the first time I ever heard about the Florida manatee, and I was smitten, I have to admit. It was such an interesting idea, and the more I learned about them, the more I learned to love them. We continued to walk along the wooden walkways at Blue Springs State Park. We walked through the trees, saw a few deer, some lizards, talked about the animals, chatter of small children all around me. We continued to walk until we got to dock platforms. We were able to walk onto the platforms and look down and see the manatees in action. Well, if you can call it action. The manatees swim in slow motion, moving along the bottom like Roomba vacuum cleaners, sometimes moving forward and backwards, sometimes moving side to side. Occasionally, we'd get to see a little baby manatee. Little in comparison to their moms, still pretty large. It was quite a sight to see, and it never left me. There was just something about this unique creature that captivated my imagination. You may not know this, but Florida manatees thrive in the warmth of our southern waters. During the winter, they depend on warm sites like the springs when the temperatures drop below 68 degrees. If you've been to Florida in the winter, you know that sometimes happens. It can get down to 20 or 30 degrees. Manatees, despite being so big and chubby looking, have very little fat on their bodies to protect them from the cold. Decreasing quantities of seagrass in these coastal areas threaten their existence. Now, despite this, we do have posted signs to remind us that manatees live amongst us. Signs to slow down your boat, turn off your motor so that we don't hurt them. Manatees can be struck by boat propellers, and it's very dangerous. But the fortunate thing is we actually have places here that will take care of them. SeaWorld, despite being SeaWorld, will take in and rehabilitate manatees when needed. We also have other rescues nearby that take in the manatees. Here in the Longwood area, we have what's called the Manatee Club. They do their best to help people learn about manatees, help us to understand how to protect them, and to remind us to keep a watchful eye. And although they're not likely to attack you when you're in the water with them, we still don't want to go up and pet them. It's better for manatees to stay wild and not to think of us as friends. We don't belong with them, and they certainly don't belong with us. And if we want to keep them out of places like refuges and out of SeaWorld's medical habitat, the best thing we can do for them is to watch from a distance. One of the things I learned that I thought was an interesting fact from our park ranger was that fossil remains of manatees show they date back 45 million years in the state of Florida. Whether you believe that or not, well, that's up to you. I do find it interesting. They are the original Florida locals. I wanted to share this encounter with you. This is the first time I heard of manatees, and I'm really interested to know, when was the first time you heard of manatees? Have you had an opportunity to go someplace and see manatees? I know there's actually places in Crystal River where you can swim with manatees, which I have actually done before, and I'll share that with you in another video. So if you could, put it in the comments. I'd love to hear about it because I know people who love manatees really love our manatees, and I totally get it. By painting manatees and telling these stories about my encounters with them, it is my hope to inspire others to protect our Florida manatees. There are many of us who spend our free time talking about them, celebrating them, and there are a lot more people who actually do the dirty work. They raise money, they plant seagrass, they actually have to sometimes go out and feed the manatees. So I just wanted to do my part in a way that fits me. So I decided to paint a manatee collection, which I love. I've done some manatee stickers in the past and donated proceeds to the Save the Manatee Club. And I really just want to enjoy, celebrate, love, share all the things that I know about these adorable manatees. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed watching the painting. Speaking of painting, let me tell you a little bit about it. I used acrylic paints for the entire thing. I started with the underpainting, which was the blue background with the outline of the manatee on top. As I was painting in the details, I realized I wanted the belly of the manatee to be a bit darker. I wanted to see some really nice contrast there. And in order to move the eye around the painting, I added these cute little fish, which you can often see swimming around manatees. And they like to eat the algae off the backs and sides of the manatees while they're swimming. I was sure to add the little whiskers on the face of the manatee and fingernails on the flippers. Like I said, they're related to elephants, so they have fingernails very similar. Then I finished it off with a coat of a glossy or a satin varnish on the sides and the top. Several coats to make sure that it's going to last. And boy, doesn't that make for a pretty picture. Thanks for joining me today. And of course, I can't let you go without seeing the final image. Here it is. I'm going to give you a close-up in just a second. He was so much fun to paint, and I've gotten a lot of compliments, and I hope you enjoyed the process. Thanks again. Bye.